gentlemen, welcome to the 4 Corners podcast. I'm joined, as always, by Matt and Shad. Gentlemen, how are you doing this evening?
I'm better than I was.
Okay, I've decided 2027 is going to be my year. Just going to start,
Oh,
and it's going to keep expectations low for 2026. Just write it off already. It's only
Yeah.
yeah. Things are
I-
fine. Things are quiet. I'm hoping there's actually things that my wife and I are like hopeful that 2026 is going to be a good year. So I'm hopeful. Going to knock on wood right now that it's going to be a good year.
we're hoping the same thing.
Yeah.
So I get it.
So, everyone watching, it is our end of the year awards for 2025. I believe this is our 7th annual because in 2020 we did not do end of the year awards.
We did not.
So it was an interesting year because I would say North America had issues with quality while Mexico and Japan. Surprisingly, Japan was pretty good last year outside of New Japan. Shockingly.
Yeah.
That's
like everything.
pretty big caveat.
Well, no, like everything but New Japan was good. Like Stardom was good. I think Stardom attendance went up by 20% last year. Like they went from like 84,000 to like 102,000 total attendance.
All right.
Outside of New Japan, you could make the argument, and they're kind of owned by the same company, so consider it, I guess, maybe part of the same company. But outside of New Japan, they're probably they're
far and away. No, there's no argument they are.
Okay, I was about to say like they're probably the number 2 Japanese promotion.
When you get into total attendance,
they are, yeah.
When you get into total attendance, they are clearly number 2 by a lot. And then if you get into per show attendance, All Japan and Noah might be close, but I think they still are tops on that.
Noah actually, to Noah's credit, when Ozawa was hurt, so he was out for a while, but I think purely on like the power of Ozawa, how over he is and how over he got, they made some sort of announcement that instead of being like, I don't know, like $1 million yen in debt or something, I'm throwing out that number, but I forget the exact number, but it was big. Instead of like being massively in debt, which like the year before they were only like they cut it by like 90%, and it's like, well, they're still in the red, but it's like they dramatically reduced it, and it's because people were going to go see Ozawa. But the problem is that in recent years they would have like big shows where it'd be like 10,000 people would show up, but it was stuff that it was like Muda's retirement.
Yeah.
So it's like you had a big hook that a lot of people wanted to go see, but now Noah's still Noah, where they have horrible booking decisions, but I don't know. But other companies in Japan, hot or cold, I don't know enough about Dragon Gate to know what they're doing.
So Dragon Gate is
done well.
Dragon Gate is interesting because COVID screwed them and they haven't quite recovered from that, more so than anyone else. But they've added youth and their bookings really good. So the shows are good, but they haven't quite recovered from COVID like everyone else.
Still trying to rebuild.
Yeah. Tokyo Joshi Pro, I think, is still like doing pretty well.
Yeah.
They're notable because they made the really smart decision of doing, certainly around like All In, they did a bunch of shows in Texas. I think they did like 3 shows in Texas.
So they
AEW doing All In Texas,
people will, especially like certain biased people will say Marigold's number 2, and they're a little above Tokyo Joshi Pro, but the hilarious thing is Tokyo Joshi Pro, because of those American shows, probably outdrew them considerably because what people don't understand about that is they came to America, and I think they did 4 or 5 shows this year, and they all drew pretty well, and they got American dollars out of that, which is
I think some of those, I think the ones around All In, I think they may have all sold out, or
they did like they were like one of the better GCW draws.
Yeah. And they were, I want to say, at least like 1,000 or 2,000 people, maybe. Like for comparatively, you're gonna compare it to like WWE. It's like, no, they're not doing like stadiums, but I mean, for a small Joshi promotion to come and do like 1,000 seats in America, it's like that's really huge. So
They're
they
very
probably
American friendly though, I think, in like how they're set up. Like
they're fun. They have good wrestling, but I'm very partial to them in
you don't
terms of
have to
the
worry
quality of
about
the.
you don't have to worry about like you can watch it with your kids. I think your kids
Yeah,
will
yeah.
like it. Like especially if you have girls, I think they'd be very enamored with it. You don't have to worry about like anything inappropriate yet. Like I think
No, they have lots of
the
fun,
characters are
like
very
vibrant characters. Yeah.
the characters are very you don't need promos and stuff because the characters are very like like some of them you might have to like you might have some cultural barriers to it, but like it's not a big deal. So I think we're gonna start this off with promotion of the year. Um, I think we're probably all in agreement on this, but so I picked CMLL. There is just no question. Dave Meltzer posted some stuff. They sold out. I think 63 of 64 shows in Arena Mexico. They sold like 1.1 million tickets over the course of the year, just killing it on every like aspect. They are outdrawing like the Friday show has been outdrawing SmackDown. That's part of the reason like WWE freaked out and bought AAA. They were just a juggernaut this year.
Yeah. I fully admit that I have not watched much outside of the American promotions. And it's not that I don't care, it's not I don't think they're worthwhile. It's part of it is my my head's been in a whole different space, and the other part of it is I just really haven't had time for it. Um, and so usually I recuse myself on it, but frankly, the numbers that just came out of CMLL have been unreal. The Arena Mexico, where it's just in one place, it doesn't travel around. It's so yes, it's I believe part of the statement is that it's drawing tourists, which is great. Um, but it's also drawing a lot of the same people. And that was, for example, with Memphis, that was a huge deal. The fact that they could keep filling the building with the same people over and over again, you've built a very loyal fan base, and that's a huge deal. Um, so I mean, yeah, if I'm gonna, I need to pick one. It's gonna be CMLL, just based off of the strength of that alone.
I I'm with you guys. I'm also choosing CMLL. I'm a little bit with you, Shad, that it's like I haven't seen a lot of stuff from CMLL this year. Like it's just unfortunately a time thing. Like just can't.
Yeah,
Yeah, you have
There's
to
so
pick
many
and choose your
promotions and so many
battles.
shows. Yeah, but
yeah,
that's why I would have. There's a lot of stuff I would have already signed up for. I would have probably signed up for like their CMLL like YouTube
Yeah,
stuff, but it's like I'm not gonna do that when I realistically don't have the time
yeah,
to go actually like invest in those shows, and I already have other stuff that I'm actually like paying money for, like Wrestle Universe, which again like it's a great value because you get like how many promotions with that for like one price. I think it's like
10.
10. Yeah, it's a just an absolute like steal for the amount of money that you're paying
yeah,
for. I think I pay like $10 or less a month, and you're getting so much content for that. Plus,
Yeah.
I also have other stuff that I do. Like I'll name drop him again. IVP videos. Like I
Hmm.
subscribe to his Patreon. That it's only like $5, I think. I think it's only $5. Uh, and he just drops. He's like sends links to stuff like at the first of the month, every first, literally the first day of the month, he sends a link with the downloadable stuff. And so it's stuff from his like from his site. So maybe it's something you already have like a disc of or whatever, but it's also like it's still an insane value. He sends like 2 dozen like shows. So
Well, I
there's so much content, and that's on top of like whatever's available on for free.
what I think is
You know,
crazy about CMLL is there was a point, um, maybe from like 2004 to 2008, where they were at least in 2006, 2007, 2008, they were the hottest promotion in the world. And here we are 20 years later, and they're the hottest promotion in the world again. And my wrestler of the year is on top for both of those hot runs with Mystico.
Yeah.
And I just to go back real quick, if I was to do runners up for my promotion of the year, it would be Stardom and Noah. Those would be my 2 runners up for the year.
Stardom hasn't had. They've had a good year, but not the best in terms of booking. But
Well,
it's been good.
but their high end has been really high end. I think Sai has been a really strong champion for them. Um,
Yeah.
and I think my problem is AEW would probably be 4th, and why they would not get the nod from me is the Death Riders and the last 2 months of the year really soured me, and they just made some, I would say, some really unfortunate cell phones on themselves, like the unified title.
That doesn't bother me as much. I get the complaints about it. It doesn't really irk me that much, except that it's like, don't, if you didn't really have any plans for it, then it's like, why do it?
Yeah,
You know,
that's my problem with it.
it's just kind of needless, and it's like, again, it's
And
your
why is
mileage may vary.
well, and what I think what makes it worse is then they introduced the national title to be a traveling
Oh
like
yeah,
belt. It's like then have the international title be that if you're bringing it back, because now you just have
Yeah.
I
instead of introducing one belt, you brought 2 belts in because you brought the international title back.
yeah, and I guess time will tell as to how that. I mean, I think partly maybe they did that because it's like, well, we should reward Ricochet because he's been fantastic. Like since
Yeah.
came with the company, he's been fantastic. So it's almost like, well, he's a really hot act. He's gotten really over. He's at a certain level on the card. It's like you should probably put a title on him or make him more important. So what are we gonna do with him? Oh, we can create this title and put it on him. Now I'm not sure what they're gonna do with it. I think has been going to like doing indie spots
Yeah.
Yeah.
with the title, like, and that actually I find really intriguing. Like if that's how they're gonna try and do that going forward, like I
Because
don't know who they'd
he's been
partner
low
with
key
necessarily.
he's been low key clowning Gabe Spolaski, which I've been all in on.
Yeah, if they have if they have Ricochet or whomever is the title holder, like going around to different indie spots, or they could pop up like in Rev Pro or something, like just randomly pop up, you know,
Yeah.
and defend the title against something and do like a little quick, spot or mini kind of storyline if they're going to be around for like, a couple weeks or somewhere. But that would be intriguing to me. If that'd be interesting. I don't know. I don't know beyond that. Like, really, what's the point of it?
Well,
They have
like
enough stuff that they arguably don't defend on TV now anyway. There's only so much TV time. But
Yeah.
yeah.
And they keep
Well, it's
creeping
like you
the
said.
ROH belts back on too, which is a problem.
It's like you said. Ricochet is willing to go out and do this with other places and operate at a pretty impressive level. Okay, cool. It feels like the unified title was something to give more stakes to Kenny Okada, which didn't need it.
Yeah.
Just doing the match again in the States was going to be a big deal. On one hand, I get the thought process of, well, what's going to make it different? We need to do something needs to be different about this. Like, and then they did the unified thing, and I like to think that they got to a point when they were like, this was not the right move to do. But
they
like you said,
probably,
why roll the national title out then
Yeah.
in order to do that? Because
I
then you can have that ambassador who's not only going out and doing stuff with other companies, which helps those other companies, but you also now get to have someone who's acting as an on-card talent scout as well, who
yeah.
has a reason to be there.
I just
So it's
think
like,
I just think I just if I was to change something with the Continental Classic, I think I would take the belt out of it and just say, okay, here's what happens. If you win the Continental Classic, you get a big publisher clearing style check for well, there's a couple things I do. Okay, so I would do okay, you get money for it. It can be arbitrary. You get a big check for it. And if you win you get a title shot at Revolution against the world champion, and that's what. But the other caveat I would put in there is also the world champion can enter the Continental Classic, and if they win, they obviously can, don't have to deal with the challenger part, but they get double the money on the line. So if you had a $500,000 tournament and you get a title shot
Hmm.
and the champion gets in and win, they get $1 million.
Okay, I like that as a reason for the champion to be in it. You get to stymie off a challenger, and you get a bigger payout.
Well,
Um,
and also there's the classic way that like New Japan has done it, where they'll have like the champion
Mm-hmm.
in like the G1, and they usually will have the champion, almost go undefeated. But if they lose something, it'd be it. Oftentimes they'll have book it where it's either like a fluke, like oh they lose like a count out, or sometimes they'll take like a pinfall, and they use that to bootstrap like oh this guy is going to be like in line for a challenge, like challenge the title because he pinned the champion. So I like that. There's ways you can do it,
Yeah.
obviously, to get more future booking out of it. I
Or you
thinking
can even do like the champion gets all the way to the finals undefeated and then loses and then has to defend the title to the guy that derailed him in the
yeah,
tournament.
yeah.
yeah, it
I
gives you another tool for storytelling stuff.
if if I had to guess with regard to the unified, uh, I mean you're right. They shouldn't have done it. But all along I've said like I feel like they kind of because it should almost be like the King of the Ring type of thing. Now they changed King of the Ring obviously ultimately where it's sometimes it's like oh people they love doing things where it's like oh the winner of this gets a title shot. I mean like the
Yeah.
G1 that's how it is like, but it should almost just be like King of the Ring in the sense it's like well you're the Continental Classic winner like you've won it like it's this prestige thing like that should be kind of
Yeah,
enough, right? It shouldn't be like well there's also a title. I think that they did it to begin with because again Okada is a big deal,
yeah,
but he doesn't factor in easily into like the world title picture or hasn't. Probably should at some point before his contract is up, but I don't know if they're going to do that. But they needed something on him to make him still be like presented as a main guy. And I thought that the Continental Championship was that. Maybe maybe they decided. I mean, I also think that Omega lost to him because as much as I love Kenny Omega, like I think it's not really a surprise if you really know all the stuff that's going on with him, like that he's only wrestled like a handful of times throughout
yeah,
the course of the year. Like I don't think he has much left in the tank, unfortunately, because of illnesses and injuries and things like that. But I think that's probably why he lost it because it's like, well, he can't do a regular schedule necessarily. So they still want to make Okada be like a big deal, so they had the unified whatever. But now they've decided like, well, let's just put the international title on him and have
hmm
Moxley do the Continental whatever, change it up. Like that's fine, but at some point, like you should do something with Okada, and I would much rather have Okada be the world champion than
Yeah, because
another MJF.
they've really
God,
I don't know, they've like Okada, like they've really kind of hurt with how they've handled him because like I don't know, he just doesn't feel the same anymore. And some of that's on him and some of that's on the booking.
I took that. I kind of took it as part of his current gimmick that Okada's kind of dogging it because he's so arrogant. He's just like, I don't need to. These chumps, that sort of stuff. And then,
his yeah, I think his stuff by and large in the Continental Classic was really good. It's more like old Okada. You know,
hmm
uh,
I mean, he still when he wants to, he still turns it on.
so
Cuz
people
he
also
did
need to realize,
cuz didn't he wrestle Bandito and it was pretty awesome during the summer?
hmm
yeah, people have to realize that what this is like Okada isn't like Nakamura level of dogging it. I mean, Nakamura is probably like washed at this point. He's older
Yeah.
than Okada, but uh, Okada came to the United States almost like I'm in semi-retirement. No, not semi.
I'm
Maybe
here
like
to
I'm in
surf.
quarter retirement. He's not here to surf, but I think he people people are like oh Okada's like doing like saying bitch and doing all this goofy shit. And it's like, yeah, because actually, if you know Okada, like he's having the blast probably.
Yeah.
He's really good
He's-
friends with the Bucks. He loves doing the comedy shit. He like loves it.
yeah.
Like I think he's even said like he loves doing it. He just has a blast. He's getting paid like a lot of money. So he can go out there and kind of like do half speed sometimes, and we can be like, "It's bullshit."
I
It's like
mean,
Okada half speed. It's almost like
it's
Omega half speed. It's like you're still gonna get a good performance. Like he's still
Oh
gonna be
yeah.
good.
that's a Japan thing though, because I can't find the picture, but there was a picture once. This is years ago, and it was Tanahashi in his gear wearing the IWGP title, and he's on a merry-go-round, posing for a picture.
Mm.
Oh, and we
So
do need to talk about. Thank
hold
God,
on.
the butterfly belt is dead.
Hang on. I got to go back
Oh
to
yeah.
something I wanted to say real quick. Uh, the thing that I'm worried with the Continental Classic that, and then we'll go to the death of the neck tattoo title. Um, is that I like the idea of having a symbol for somebody being that, a symbol of excellence kind of thing. And I mean, why not have it be a belt? Like, Mercedes has had the Owen belt as part of her presentation ever since she won it. And it's just not a title you defend. It's instead of it being a crown and a cape and a scepter, it's like, well, that's the Continental Champion right there. Well, I want to challenge him for that title. It's like that. It's not a title you challenge for. You got to enter the Classic when it comes back around. And the reason that I'm saying all of that is because winner of the Continental Classic gets a title shot is the same thing the Owen does, and then the Owen happens in the spring, and the Continental Classic is November, December. Um, I mean, it's the thing that I like about the Continental Classic is it's a time when AEW goes, all right, we're getting towards the end of the year and people kind of drop off on viewing, so screw it, we ball banger after banger after banger. We're only putting people with crazy work rate in this. Go for it. And I think that it would act as a good way to push somebody. You wouldn't fall into the too many belts thing because you don't defend that title. You just are that champ. You're the Continental Champion, but it's not a defended title, and um, you can use it to build people, push them, that sort of stuff. It's
I mean, yeah, it's bragging rights. It should,
yeah.
like I said, be like the old school how it was, like King of the Ring. Now
Hmm.
they also kind of, I say that, but then I'm thinking like they had people lose the King of the Ring. Uh, the I'm king, and then it's like they get beat by somebody for
Uh,
like the King of the Ring.
I
Yeah.
think
That's
that's only
stupid, but I mean, it should
happened. That's only
it
happened
should
a
just
couple
be like a,
times, hasn't it?
I don't remember.
I know
Didn't
Duggan
like
lost it to Haku because of an
yeah, but
injury, I think.
did
And
Duggan win it from King Harley Race or?
no, Duggan won the tournament. Well, no, he might have won it from race.
Because it was Race and Haku and Duggan are. I swear, I think that there's a line of progression between them, but I could just very
Point
much
is,
be
like
wrong.
I think it should be like that in the sense that it's like you can walk around where it's like I'm the 2025 Continental Classic, winner. Like
Yeah.
and brag about that. But I don't know.
Maybe you could do a trophy and they could take it around like Owen when he won the two Slammies, and he would.
I
I
do
mean
like
that's
that
not a
idea.
bad idea. Like
So, we can move to wrestler of
The
the year
death of
next.
well,
Oh,
no, you
the
wanted to
death
go to
of
the death of the
yeah.
neck tattoo title.
If you watch the Wrestle Kingdom show, which the retirement match is really good, um, the Yoda Suji won the I don't know what they're calling it now, so we'll just call it the IWGP title. But so pretty much they
It
threw
is. It is again, by the way.
okay, they threw the world title in the trash and they have the classic belt back, which is a vast improvement for.
which it's not just the belt. I think they went back to like recognizing the lineage.
Yeah.
Yes, they did.
Which it's like to me, it was like, this is dumb. Like, why did you start over? Where it's like, I think wasn't Ibushi like the first of the
Yeah.
butterfly one? So it's like, oh, like Takeshita or maybe Suji, like one of them is like, well, they're like the 11th champion. It's like, no, like this belt has really actually been around for decades at this
It
point.
was so
Yeah.
But
stupid.
I think they went back to the old numbering. So
I think that's where I really dropped off in caring because the belt meant nothing.
it. I just don't know what they were doing with that. I understand. Well, I had heard someone said online that there may have been like some sort of lawsuit over the design of the old belt, and like the final level lot. That's what they changed to like the new one, and they finally got resolved. So now they're going back. I don't know. Who knows? All I know is like the old school IWGP title is up there. The one that they just brought back. It's up there to me with like the big gold belt
Oh yeah,
and
it's an S
maybe
tier
like the
title.
AEW title. That it is a fantastic title. AEW, I love the AEW World Title. The only thing that I find it to me it's like detriment is I think the AEW is very prominent, and not that IWGP doesn't have like that on it too. Like
I'm
I don't like it. It doesn't. I still love it. I think it's great, but
AEW has a touch of UFC belts in it. Is what
yeah.
because the AEW belt I'm gonna do that all night. Okay, the AEW belt um it's not my favorite, but the AEW titles have like there is like a real sport aesthetic they're going with the AEW belts.
Oh, I love
Like
the before we got into the unified stuff, like the AEW like international title,
yeah.
like look fantastic. Like yeah, they have really good belt design by and large.
Well,
Like some of it's
and the,
wonky, like the PBS title has always been a little weird to me,
well, the
but
original women's title was bad. That's I think their really only miss. What I like about their belts is they aesthetically match. Like they look like they belong to a promotion, and like when you go to like some of these other promotions, like New Japan, can be bad about that. I think with the IWGP title, like things are a little better. But like if you go to WWE, like their belts do not have like a consistent aesthetic with each other.
no. And their designs have been terrible for a while.
Oh, they haven't. When's the last good belt they had on TV? Was it
World
the
title
was it the
or any
classic
title?
any title? Like was it when they were using the white strap IC title?
Maybe. They've been bad for a long time, like a long time.
Yeah.
I hated the penny and nickel tag belts. I thought those looked like crap. I hate the corporate splash art title. I hate the Ferrero Rocher title. The U.S. title, looks like a fifth grader's art project. The new Intercontinental title just
It's
doesn't.
ugly.
It makes no sense to me.
I think I know what the
Um,
last title I really liked was that I would like
what's that?
actually consider buying is John Cena's Spinner US belt.
I can never. The spinner belt always brings one line to mind for me. It was the night after One Night Stand where Ron Van Dam's in the ring goes, "I told you I'd do it, and here I am. I'm the world heavyweight champion, and this belt spins." And just laughed myself sick because I hated that stupid belt. And okay, was if it was a vanity title for John Cena, fine, I guess. But
It
then
was
they
that they
just
kept
kept that design around,
yeah.
and I hated it because it looked so chintzy.
The US version of it's pretty good though. But he only used it though. And it's weird like they had good belt design like through the late 80s into like the early 2000s. I thought their belt design was pretty good. Like they had some ups and downs, but like the world title always looked good. Like the original unified title was too small at first, but they rectified that, but that was like still a decent belt. Um
Was that the one Brock had, or
yeah, that was one Brock had.
yeah, that one had a nice look to it.
It was too small
Yeah,
at first and then they made it bigger and it was better.
yeah, yeah.
But I feel like with the title belts though, is it needs to look like something you actually want to beat someone up over. And I feel like
Yeah,
the IWGP title is like I said to Shad, like Shad, you're a wrestler, wouldn't you push an old lady over to get that belt?
yeah. I mean, again, we were past the time of
Not a
kayfabe.
belt mark, but I'd think about it.
I mean, I'm not
We're
either, but I'm
past.
saying like I'm saying like if you're kind of kayfabe, it's like yeah, I'd beat someone up for that belt. It's cool.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
looks like it's worth fighting over. Yes.
Yeah.
It's a prize. It's an actual like prize. It's something that again we're past the days of kayfabe, but we aren't. Like
Yeah.
you still have kayfabe, and at least in the universe when the cameras are rolling, like you're not, you're not doing some sort of bullshit Vince Russo like self-referential nonsense where it's like a wink and a nudge. Like people are in on the joke, okay, at this point, all
Yeah.
right? But you're supposed to still present it as like and
Supposed to
especially in
take it
places like
seriously.
in yeah, especially in places in Japan where they try and make it more like a real sport type feel to it. Like you want a title that actually looks like a real title that you would fight someone for. And that to me, like the IWGP title is up there. It's probably in my top three. The only ones I probably like more is the big gold belt and the winged eagle, and those are the two. It's like kind of
Classic
from my
ice.
childhood.
I think classic
So
IC for me, the TV title would also be in there. The the classic like 80s into the late 90s WWF tag titles, I like the looks of those a lot.
yeah,
I dig. Brad mentioned the WCW TV. I love the WCW United States title. I like the tag belts. I like the cruiserweight belt. I like all the WCW titles through the Prime Nitro years. Um, and when you go like the current AEW tag belts are pretty good. Uh, I really like the international title. I think like the shape of it, I'm like, that feels like it's kind of clunky with the size it is, but it looks good. The
mhm,
Continental Belt's got a nice kind of stark classic thing to it, and I really like the clean lines and the simple design on the TNT belt. So I don't know, man. It's the I and I know it's going to sound hypocritical that I like the way the TNT belt is. I don't really like the TBS belt, but I like the TNT belt. But I was griping about the
I
corporate splash art WWE title.
I like the TNT belt better when every champion got like their take on it.
Well, Mark Briscoe has that now,
Oh, I
and it
remember
was
the
nice because they brought it to him. Like the conglomeration, they're like, we had this done, and like we wanted you to have this if you won. So I really liked that they did that in kayfabe.
thinking about the TNT. I know the last good WWF title belt that they had on TV was the Daniel Bryan Sustainable World Title because that looked awesome.
It fit the gimmick so well.
And
I really did appreciate that.
I did like Kofi's belt. The very like cause he had the WWE title, but it was black.
Oh, okay.
I like
Well,
that one too.
isn't that how the one Cody carries around now? Isn't that
I haven't looked at that one.
yeah? It's the black
Oh,
strap
is it the piss
with
one?
all the settings are gold.
Is it the P title?
mm,
I don't think
Remember
so.
when Roman got the third belt? We were like, "Ooh, that looks like the PP title."
Yeah, maybe it's just time or whatever, but from what I've seen, it looks better now because it's gold on black. So I don't know. Maybe I was just
Maybe they changed the color a little bit because someone told them.
maybe so, maybe so. But in any event, it's hard to. Anyway, we were gonna go into wrestler of the year,
Yeah,
and I'm in this. I find myself in this weird spot because on one hand, it's hard to argue with Mystico being at the riding the crest of the wave for what CMLL is doing, but I have watched very little of that. And so it's like, well, okay, I have to admit that Mystico has been leading the charge on this amazing run, but I haven't seen enough of it to feel honest. But then I'm left with this spot of like, well, who do I pick up after that? And I've got like four names, and Brad's gonna try and stab me with a fork for one of them, but you know, Bandito's had a really good year. Takeshita's had a really good year. Hangman had one of the best wins, the best feeling wins I've seen. And despite it all, and part of it is that they said earlier in the year his performances weren't that great because he was working hurt. And I'll also say that he was also working Copeland. Is I feel like Mock should probably have more credit than he's gotten in general,
Mm, I
but I
could see for the
understand why
second.
people wouldn't want to give it to him.
I could see for the second half of the year. I think we should do this because I've seen some Mystico, but I feel like I should see more. Let's do this and just say Mystico is our official wrestler of the year, but we're going to do our personal wrestlers of the year because we're just going to
Okay.
say like there's not an argument outside of Mystico.
Who's the wrestler of the year?
That's
Probably Mystico,
Yeah.
but I
That's
can't swear to it.
that's fair because I'm with you, Shad. Like I haven't seen enough of his stuff. If you go
Everything I've seen has been
just
good.
based,
That's the thing. Like he's been good.
what I
from
have
I've
seen, the quality of the in-ring work has been fantastic.
Yeah.
And how old is he? He's probably in his 40s by now, right?
Probably.
The quality of his in stuff is like fantastic.
I
So
think
in
he's been
ring,
around
he's
since
been
the
good.
'90s.
Okay.
Mm.
I don't think he's like 50, but I think he's probably in his 40s because he has been around, as a main event guy,
He's
a
43.
good 20 years.
He's
That's
43.
actually still relatively young.
And he debuted in
Um,
'98, so I
and he-
was right. He's been around since the '90s.
And let's be realistic, like Lucha is a different type of environment.
Yeah.
He could go another 20 years.
Well,
It's,
because
like,
they don't
easy.
So
because they don't have to
He's
flat
at the halfway point in his career.
because they
Yeah.
don't work for WWE that insists you flat back bump and take the worst possible bump for aesthetics when they can pratfall and like go off their hip and not take those hard
so
bumps as much.
I learned about where that came from, and it's probably a yeah, no kidding kind of thing, but I feel like I want to say it even in case there's somebody who's watching or listening is like and didn't know it because I felt stupid not realizing I didn't know it, but early lucha rings were all boxing rings and they were hard as hell. And so nobody wanted to bump on them. And that's why there's so much of the rolls and the submissions in it. It's all this stuff you can do without having to.
There's a lot of roles, and I've seen, to the extent they like take bumps, I've seen a lot of lucha guys take bumps that are like, look at this Looney Tunes ass bump. They're just like they're barely like hitting, and they're acting like, oh, like they're big dramatic, like, oh, I
Yeah.
hurt myself, and it's like, oh, come
Like,
on, dude. But it's
they take
entertaining as hell.
that big arm drag and then they take it and they roll and then they tumble under the ropes and they go outside and they're like, oh, and it's like,
Yeah.
but it makes sense
What was,
that's
Yeah.
where it comes from.
What was that match we watched with Super Porky and his brother that was just like badass?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What match?
In the last calendar
Yeah.
year.
Who were they
I
wrestling?
can't remember what. I remember we did it. So
Because he used to
Man,
come
let
out
me
to
look.
the Looney Tunes music.
I remembered when I heard that, it reminded me of a line out of Jericho's first book. And yes, I'm keeping my wrestling books right here so I can use them as props. He was telling a story about working in Mexico and the other guy didn't want to bump, so he called a hip toss. And the other guy's like, nope. And so Jericho's like, well, I'll show him. I'll take it. He's like, it was an old boxing ring, and I about filled my pants whenever I hit it. It was so hard. And I'm like, this, okay. Someone's saying that part out loud, and I'm like, okay, that makes excellent sense. I should have.
Well, the
Why didn't I?
CMLL.
Okay.
That's the funny thing about CMLL and why people that thought WWE was going to win were dumb is CMLL is not the primary source of income for their owners. They're boxing promoters, and CMLL is their side thing.
Yeah. Well, and where did so much of AAA's money come from was taking the few people they did have on their roster and licensing them to appear for other companies. So it'd be like, oh, you want to have Vikingo on your show? Sure. You've got to pay us the booking fee for it, and Vikingo will be there and you pay him. And so they didn't have a big roster of guys that they had signed to contracts, but they were big enough that they could be draws elsewhere, and so they'd take a cut of that. And it's like, well, we're going to buy AAA and do that. And it's like, You don't know how they make money. Of course you don't. So never
They,
mind.
Oh,
I've.
that's the other thing we need to do a show on this month is El Io del Santo retired last month.
Oh yeah, yeah, he did. The same day as Cena, so it's like
Yeah,
got lost in the shuffle.
Mhm.
Uh
which is a shame because he's probably a bigger star in his
oh,
country
oh,
than Cena is.
oh yeah, yeah. Uh, I should probably look. I know like guys like Lucha Blog. I think he's had talked about it. Like there's things that WWE beyond like there's cultural stuff that just would
Mhm.
not translate, but uh there's stuff that WWE has done with AAA that it's like you're not gonna get even if you even if CMLO wasn't as hot, you're not gonna win the war because you're doing things that from a Mexican fan base, like they're not gonna like it. They're basically they took AAA and it's like you need to work American style. That's
Yeah.
basically like
Well, and
how they're
They
doing
even
it, and it's like
said
it
on
doesn't really
AAA
work that
show.
way.
well, and
It's
the other thing is CMLL played it perfectly because the second WWE took over, CMLL wrapped themselves in the Mexican flag and were like, "Hey, this is where the real Mexican lucha libre is," and they've gotten even hotter.
So here's the thing that that kills me is that it is on CMLL shows that the WCW or the WWE lead in, which by the way has the nose's face in it because it has to
Yeah.
say we're taking Lucha out of being a sideshow, and I'm like, do you are you
One
you're
point
literally talking shit
1.1
to your
million
own?
tickets. 1.1
Yeah,
million tickets.
yeah,
yeah,
you're telling people that wanted to go see AAA that it was a lame sideshow and now they're going to legitimize. You got Rey Mysterio to say that on camera.
yeah. That really rubbed me the wrong way, and it's like
Yeah.
you don't have to basically. I know I get that you work for the company. They're really pushing your son, but you don't have to like you don't have to do the minstrel show for them by saying shit
No,
like
Yeah.
especially because you could have just been like, "Hey, it's really cool that WWE is gonna get Lucha Libre." Well, you'd be wrong, but it would be better to say like, "Hey, he's gonna get Lucha Libre. They're gonna get Lucha Libre more exposure in the United States."
Okay, that would be a fair statement to make. If they were to say we're wanting to take Lucha worldwide, okay, that could be a fair statement to make. But say we don't want to make it a sideshow anymore, it's just like God.
Like, I mean, like El Santo, it was in tons of movies, tons. So was Mil
And he
Mascaras.
with their masks on.
Yes, I
You
think
know,
Blue
it was
Demon.
not a sideshow. People were there to see them in whatever crappy movie it
Yeah,
was.
he was in the movie as El Santo.
Yeah.
So we'll go into
God.
personal wrestler of the year. So did
well,
you?
hold on, Brad, real quick. Uh, the match you're talking about was from we watched it last February. It was our excuse me, Grand Hamada tribute,
Oh,
and it
okay,
was Perro Aguayo Senior and Grand Hamada versus Los Brazos Japan, which is
nice.
obviously
That
super.
was a good match.
And Brazo de Oro. Yeah, it was a good match.
Okay, so we're gonna do our personal ones here, and so Shad I take it from your ranking? Adam Page is yours.
Yeah. And the reason that I'm going to say this is that there was a downswing or no, the word I'm looking for. Adam Page's heel turn, started off with not a bang but a cannon shot. And then the problem is that they were wanting to be like, well, it's not good for him to act this way, so they had him lose. And it's like, why are you taking a hot heel and making him lose like this? Like, I don't hate Jay White, but why did Jay White beat Adam Page clean as a sheet?
I think once
But
the
then,
initial novelty wore off too, people didn't want to boo him.
yeah, but then what we had happen whenever we went after the Christopher Daniels match, which I think was part of the intent of the Christopher Daniels match, we started seeing the slow turn of bringing Hangman back and Hangman coming back and returning to, the hero cowboy and winning the Owen and going to All In and this whole big thing. And even if I thought the reign was too short, how well he handled and comported himself during that reign was so good that yes, for the folks that I have personally watched, I enjoyed Hangman Page the most and got the most invested, and high heights and success and that sort of stuff.
So,
Yeah, Hangman Page.
so I'm gonna throw a curveball at you guys because you're not gonna see this. Well, I said it earlier who my personal is. My personal wrestler of the year, Samoa Joe. This is male wrestler of the year, by the way. Samoa Joe.
Okay.
The Ops was awesome.
Okay.
He his match with Moxley in the cage I thought was really good. His Adam Page match was pretty good. There were some other one-offs I thought he was really good in. I just thought as a counterbalance to the Death Riders, like he was kind of leading that charge towards the end, and I think that's where it started working is when Joe was like their primary antagonist.
I think Joe was the one that made them mortal again.
Yeah.
Um,
And he kind
I
of
think that's
like he's always been good, but like he also caught some sprinkles of that old magic like from his prime. Like in his like mystique, like he picked up a mystique this year when he was losing. I really liked how he played up like how the feud with Adam Page started. I thought was really great because it was over something. It was over something stupid, but like something stupid that is believable.
People hated on it,
Why
and
though?
I
He
get
because
that.
Page handed him his belt, and like he was careless about it, and Joe's like, "Fuck you, that's my property."
you're not going
You
to treat me
disrespected-
like
you
that.
dis-
Yeah.
Well, you disrespected me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I kind of get. I mean, I also feel like we've been too
but that's something.
maybe people have been fed fatigued,
But
where it's
that's
you need this elaborate bullshit storyline. It could, I get the complaints, but it's also wrestling is simple. It can just be
those.
something that's simple. I feel you disrespected me. Now I'm gonna make myself your problem.
Yeah, but like
there you go.
the people that had a problem with that do not watch real sports, obviously, because if you watch real sports, athletes go absolutely fucking crazy over stuff like that. Like it would like if that happened like to a couple of like UFC fighters, they would absolutely have an issue with it.
Here, I've got an even more petty thing that has started throwdowns is either you flipped the bat after you got that hit at the plate or you threw behind me. Both of those things being intentional whatevers, and it's like then they're charging each other for it, and I'm like, okay, number one, sure, it's an intentional snub in front of everybody, but it's like, ooh, you flipped the bat. Like I'm running, and I'm just like, hell yeah, I did a good job. And you're like, you bastard, and it's like, oh, here we go. Or I'm not throwing to you. I don't like you. I throw behind you just to prove the point. And instead of being like, ha, chump, it's just like, oh, I'm going. And Hangman Joe feeling disrespected fits in perfectly with that. It's like, look, I know there have been people in my personal life that I have felt very disrespected by, and I'm not throwing down over it, but I'm just like, you know what? I thought we were close, but I'm out. I'm done.
To go with
If you thought that little of me to do that to me, I'm done. I'm not.
or
Don't tell me I didn't think of it that way. That makes it worse.
or one of the biggest brawls between NBA players was I think it was the Carmelo Anthony. Kevin Garnett told him he popped his wife and she smelled like Honey Nut Cheerios, and that started a whole that started a whole brawl.
That's such a weird insult.
Kevin
I mean,
Garnett
not the first part of it,
was like
but
a prolific like Just the fact that he probably like where do you get the material that you think of Honey Nut Cheerios after talking about sexual acts with someone's wife?
Yeah, like you the first part of it, okay, yeah. I I get being pissed about that. But then the second part of it, I'm like, did I hear you right? Are you sure?
Yeah, so I like that's the thing that people are like that don't like I said, if you watch real sports, um that would absolutely be a problem in a
Mhm.
sports setting. Like
Yeah.
absolutely would be a problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
Matt, who would be yours?
So I'll give you the answer, but I'll give you the runner up first. Like in
Okay.
terms of match quality, and also like doing quite well for like the shows he was booked as like a main star or a very featured attraction. But Bandito is my runner up, just because the quality of his work has been amazing, like all throughout the year. Plus, he's also done a bunch of shows. Like over the summer, he was doing a bunch of shows in Mexico. Obviously, we covered like the AEW show that they did with CMLL.
Oh, he
Grant
just
was a
did.
Grand Slam, right?
Yeah, he just did. I think it was over the weekend or yesterday. He set up a ring in his neighborhood and just did a spontaneous show for like the
For
people in
Three
his
Kings
little.
Yeah.
Day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Well, again, so as a white person, I didn't get this. Like, I maybe as a Catholic, I'm not Catholic, but if you're Catholic, there was like Three Kings is like a thing. There's like a million like, days or whatever
yeah.
with
Hmm.
Catholics, it seems. But certainly, like, if you know Latinos or are married into like a Latino family, like, and I am, like, I'm obviously white, but I married someone who's Latina, and it's Latino family, like Three Kings Los Tres Reyes, like it's actually a big thing. And I'm
Hmm.
like, I was so confused. Like my wife, like her dad was like, "Oh, I can send you like $100 just a celebration of Three Kings Day. Like you want like get like a gift." I'm like, she's like, What?" And like, but that's like it's a big thing. But
Hmm.
yeah, like so I can imagine in the Mexican community, like Three Kings Day. But that's a whole separate discussion. We could talk about Bandito and how they probably should pull the trigger on this guy to like the world title level, like because he's incredible worker and has a ton of
Talks
charisma. We've
talks
talked about him
well.
before. Talks well, like I said before, like I'm not sure how well his English is. Then he's talked English throughout the year.
Yeah,
And it's like,
he was
oh,
fine on
it's
Hey
good enough.
EW.
It's very good. It's good enough for me and a lot of people. And he's like, he's he has the quality about him that some wrestlers just never get. Uh, they could have a ton of charisma, like, but he's like, I find him, he's kind of like endearing.
I
And my
think
dad, it's like,
authentic is what I feel like he is.
maybe that's the better way to put it. Like, it's like he seems real and he seems just likable. He's not. I'm not gonna say like you're at Ricky Steamboat, like this man is a perpetual babyface. I cannot boo this man level, but I like Bandito. It's like I want to root for him every time I see him. Shad, what are you
May,
gonna
may
say?
I make may I make one?
Absolutely.
I really wish Bandito had a different finish because
Oh,
the
the German.
the the 21 plex as a regular spot just I hate it. Like as an occasional, oh hey, cool, the guy happened to be in position, so I did this. All right, that I'm fine with. But doing that as your regular finish just absolutely kills me.
I also
It, it
what
it's pushing my suspension of disbelief enough that I roll my eyes. I can't help it.
what I've come to respect a lot about him is
Hmm.
he versus a lot of wrestlers in both companies and in a lot of places. He knows how to keep it in his pants in matches. Like when you watch a
Hmm.
Bandito match, he's like, "Yeah, I can do all this shit, but I'm not gonna because I'm not gonna do that every match." Like, yeah, I can do a
Yeah.
top rope fuckinator, but that's you got to pay the big pay per view bucks if you want to see me do that, guys.
Yeah, that's true. He knows when to take his foot off the gas.
Yeah, which I really
Yeah.
respect because a lot of guys don't know how to do that.
Top
Yeah.
rope fuckinator.
Yeah.
Uh, he's been great. He's my runner up. The person who I feel my personal wrestler of the year was Takeshita, because another one who had tremendous work rate this year. Like his
G1 was
matches have been,
good.
his G1 was really good, and
The Bandito
he just lost
match.
the title.
Um,
Yeah, one of the Ring of Honor pay-per-views.
the June
Uh,
one. It was
yeah,
oh, I wish I could remember their name. Sorry, I'm not good with the names.
yeah. He he just lost the title to Yota Tsuji, but he won the IWGP title, which I'm sure will just be his first reign. I find it unlikely that it's one and done. I'm sure they'll put the title on him again at some point.
Yeah, because I think
He's fantastic.
he and Yota Tsuji worked pretty well together, and I think they're good foils for each other.
Yeah.
And he is, let me look it up. How old is Takeshita? I think he's only like 30, maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think you're right. I think he
because
is.
MJF's
Let me
turning
see.
30, I think, in March.
He's 30. He will be turning 31 in May.
Yeah, so
he's young. I mean, he is an absolute like world class
he really came
talent,
into his own
and
this year.
he did. He's been fantastic. So to me, it's like he gets the edge.
Yeah,
Bandito though has been fantastic. So
Also,
those are two guys that you could put the AEW world title on them down the road, and you
Yeah.
should at some point.
I love that Takeshita picked up using the Raging Fire as his finish in the past year too, because it's unique. It's a great look. I think it's a great choice, and I don't remember seeing anybody else using like a 180 or greater rotation Falcon Arrow before. So I thought that was just a fantastic addition.
and honorable mention. We're not going to talk about it, but Kyle Fletcher just deserves a shout out because he had a really strong year. So we're going to go over to the female side of this award. So Matt, why don't you start us off? Because this one, there were some good choices this year.
There were some good choices. I feel like a lot of people, certainly like in America, would probably put someone like Tony Storm or Mercedes as their
And
choices.
they would
They would not be wrong.
Yeah, they wouldn't be wrong.
They've both been really good. As an aside, like I don't think that you could realistically put maybe anyone from the WWE in the contention. Like think about it. People would be, well, I guess you could say Io Sky because her work is fantastic.
I feel like she doesn't have good enough opponents to climb into that upper. I think she is the caliber of that kind of wrestler, and I think her match with Mayu was pretty good and shows that she still got it. But she does not get enough chances to shine, I think, to get into that conversation.
Yeah.
And she was such an afterthought in her Mania match too. That really bothered me.
Yeah. My choice is Saya Kamatani from Stardom, who not only this was the year, I mean the early, and I can't believe like the feud, her basically ending Tam Nakana's career was like at the beginning part of the year. It's like that feels like it was so much longer ago. But that is what to be elevated her to the next level.
2 5 stars from Dave too. After people spent years bitching he wouldn't give women's wrestling 5 stars, they chopped up 2 in 4 months.
The match,
the retirement match is awesome.
It's awesome. It is a spectacle in terms of storytelling. It is an actually multi-layered. You have to like have followed Stardom for a while to really get all of it, but it is a multi-layered story that the payoff was absolutely brilliant. It's one of those rare wrestling matches where it's like it's actually there's lots of really good matches. There's some really classic matches, but then there are other matches that to me like transcend because of the storyline or everything involved, that they truly are classics and they really kind of like break through and become, I've said wrestling is an art form, I believe that, but it's like this is like the epitome of the art form. Like this is things everything goes right. That that brought her to the next level, not just as like champion, but after that, she even kind of blew up where she, at least in Japan, has at least some minor.
She got
She's kind of broken out into the societal like consciousness of Japan, where
a-
she's like
and
showing
wasn't
up on
she
like
on
game shows or
the
things like that. Like
wasn't she on the first women's match to air on TV in like decades?
I think so, and it actually I think was rated pretty well. And she
Yeah.
just won like some award for like maybe I think like one of the wrestlers of the year. And Jushin Thunder
She
Liger
Yeah.
got
got the
himself in
She got the
trouble.
Tokyo Sports MVP.
Okay, yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Jushin Thunder Liger got himself in trouble a little bit because he was like, "Well, I don't understand why they don't just do male and female," and people were like, "Shut the fuck up, Jushin! Like, just give it, let her like have it be celebrate that a woman got like this MVP award." But
Well, I mean,
uh,
I think it was a bad time to say it, but I think it's not
I think I understood what he was saying. I don't think he was trying to be,
because there's
inappropriate. But
because we do male and female on here just so we can
yeah,
recognize more people, but there are years this might actually be the second year that I would have like if you said who's your wrestler of the year, a woman would have won it because Sayuri in 2023 I think would have won my wrestler of the year, and Saya probably would have won my wrestler of the year this year because everything
yeah,
said's true. Like the Tam thing, it's like I hate to bring the nose into this, but it was very reminiscent of how Mick Foley just made him. Like
yeah,
Tam Nakano did that for her. And like she's run with the ball. Like it also makes Rossley look like a foolish old man because he wouldn't push her. And now he's helping like he thought he was gonna pick away at stardom, and then this person he wouldn't push. That's actually why Marigold like kind of is gonna fail its stated goal because what happened is so he took a couple people, not as many as he thought, and then Storm was like, "Oh, we have a new booker. We're just gonna push all these young people you had in limbo for
hmm
a decade,"
Saya,
and they didn't miss a
Starlight
beat.
Kid, Starlight Kid kind of like broke out a little bit. I think she has even higher heights that she can reach.
Azumi, I
But
think, broke out a lot.
yeah, speaking of Marigold, like I heard someone say I don't follow it as well, but I heard someone say like I think they have like some tours and stuff coming up, and it's like a little grim because like I don't know if people are hurt or just have left. I mean, Mirai left,
Yep.
and that was one of his
She
big
just
gets.
she just showed back up in TJPW for the 1-4 show.
Yeah, but
Because
she's I think gonna work.
she won the international princess title, I think.
Yeah, she
She
won like their
signed
secondary
she signed
title.
to M
Like they're
Pro.
yeah, she won like the equivalent of like their like their intercontinental
Yeah,
U.S. title.
because like
But that actually matters
he
because
wasn't
they
pushing
only
her.
have yeah
She was like his. She was one of the few. That's actually he's lost like the big most like half of the big stars that came over, but he wasn't using her well, and like
yeah.
he only had a couple people, and she was obviously like at the next level, and I could see getting frustrated, being like it's me and a bunch like it's me, three other stars, and a bunch of trainees. Like why can't you use me better?
I've heard that the stuff coming up, like it's just a lot. It's still more like it's heavily featuring the trainees, and they're just not at the level. So it's like I don't know. It seems bad, but anyway,
It's gotten better quality wise, but what happened is they had the big EO Mayu match, which drew really well. I think they
mm,
pulled over 4,000. But then he immediately went into like just autopilot on booking, so they lost all of the buzz from it because they haven't done shit for like the 2 months since then, which he always does. So they've lost the momentum from it because they've just been doing. They're obviously just waiting around for like the next thing. I don't know, it's a mess. And I honestly think they haven't booked Mayu that well. But Saya Kamatani is also mine. Like
mm.
Matt said, two best feud of the year, two 5-star matches. One of them is my match of the year, and it's not this year, but her match with Sayuri was pretty good. She just won the. No, Sayuri just beat her for the IWGP Women's. I got that mixed up. But she's been the biggest star in Japan, female wise. Like it's far and away the biggest
Mm.
star, and she's just been on fire this year. Like
I'm gonna be the basic North American guy. and I'm just gonna say Tony Storm because I like Tony more than I like Mercedes. Uh,
He,
I mean, that's really
I,
what it boils to. Now, in the coming year, the problem I see something coming in the next few months, and the problem is it's going to overlap between last year and this year. Is I would have given props to Willow, who I like more than Tony Storm. Willow Nightingale is my favorite women's wrestler. With the inaugural tag title thing, dethroning Mercedes, and going forward, like I can see all of this being a big thing, but it's not, and it's not in last year, so I've got to give it to Tony Storm.
Because like the light the what was it called? What was the gimmick called? Her Mariah May match was really both matches were really good this year. You can
yeah,
argue the Australia show they
the
were the
Hollywood
top
ending.
draw. They drew a big TV rating at like 1 in the morning.
Yeah.
No, Tony Storm is a legit star. Like, and certainly in AEW, she is a juggernaut star. Like,
Yeah,
she's a top star.
She is one of the biggest stars in the company.
and
And
she
it's
Yes.
not like she's the top women's star. It's like, no, she is one of the biggest stars in the company.
and she cursed Blake
Yes.
Monroe, which is kind of funny.
Yeah. Oh, she did. That.
Okay, I've wondered. Okay, I saw someone comment about it, and I sat and thought about it for a while. Because was she cursing, or was she just able to read what it was going to be? Because Blake Monroe's title run between winning it and then Tony coming back was pretty bland in my memory.
She had it
So
for
was it Tony cursing her, or was it Tony being like, they ain't gonna get it out of her like I have?
yeah. Well, I think I will slightly defend her title reign in that she had it for the worst part of the year to have to like carry the belt because fall's not usually like a great time for AEW
And
traditionally.
it was going to be everybody knew we were waiting on Tony to come back. So the whole thing was kind of a, you know, but it was not, at least to me, it was not great. And then whenever they were doing the wrap up to the ending, she was not holding her own in promos with like the very promo you invoked, Matt, where where she cursed her.
Whatever happened to Mariah May?
Yeah,
I curse you with a
where she
lifetime
said
of
the line, "I
mediocrity.
sent," yes, when she
I cut
said
to
that
shoot to a
line,
lifetime of mediocrity.
Mariah
Yeah.
May was like window dressing to Tony Storm in that promo.
Uh, there are few people in wrestling, not male or female, in wrestling who are a better promo than Tony Storm.
Yeah,
And I had to look it up because I knew she was young. She just in October just turned 30. Like she's so good and is already at this point like like you could literally retire be like I'm done with wrestling, I'm retiring. You're like you're like almost legend status. That's how good your
yeah,
run has been the last like just handful of years in AEW.
yeah.
But obviously at 30, like you can keep doing this for a few more years as long as you want to, really.
Yeah.
Well, not as long. You can't do it another, 50 years. You don't want to be like Mae Young out there, but
She
she
can
could keep
keep
going for a few
operating at the
years,
level she's at.
and she's fantastic. And she has, I mean, I know it's like the timeless Tony Stark. It's like kind of heavily gimmick, but she is smart enough, talented enough, like charismatic enough that you could, in theory, have a little bit of like breakout star with her. And I mean, like you could have her. It's kind of like back when a couple years ago at this point, when Swerve won the title.
Hmm.
Like when he won the title, like I was into Swerve, I was happy he won the title, but then I started hearing him give promo like interviews, like on radio shows and things like that, and I'm like, oh, I get it.
Yeah,
Like there are certain people that you could be like, if you want to make AEW reach the next level,
yeah.
have them go and do media, and it's like there's some people like back in the day you think about guys who like the WWE is like, hey, at Ultimate Warrior because it was kind of crazy, but it's like Macho Man, go do Kathy Lee and Regis back in like the
Yeah.
early '90s something. It's like it's kind of crazy, but it's like, yeah, he's charismatic, he's fun. Like people, it's like, oh, wrestling. It's like you could have Tony Storm go out and do stuff like that. You could have her on Good Morning America, and it's like, yeah, she's doing a gimmick. It's
It's just
weird,
it's like
kind of,
you're on
but
network TV. Keep that in mind. Don't say any of
yeah,
that. But
but
they've
she'd be
got
perfect for it because like she could go out there and do like a 5 minute like funny segment, and she would show so much personality and be
like
entertaining that people are like, oh, okay, AEW's coming to my show. Like maybe not everyone's going to be into it, but
I don't.
the commercial they did for that crossover of the White Castle. Tony's
yeah.
just goofing off the whole time, and it was a ball to watch. And it's like, yeah, this is Tony Storm. What do you want? Into the drive-through, Mike.
Did you see? I
And
don't
I
think it was
just
White Cat.
loved it.
Did you see like the one thing they did? It was like just behind the scenes of AEW. It had a purpose, but she was like taking a selfie with Orange Cassidy.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Did you see that one?
yeah. I saw that.
Mm-mm.
She's like, now we just have to hold this pose for
Mm.
60 seconds, and he's like, what? He's like so confused.
For like not for like 120 because she was thinking
Yeah.
it was like the old daguerreotype or something.
Yes.
I will say
Yes, you're right.
I will say to Mariah May though, you can't. You have to have something in you to hold up a feud that good and matches that good. So she has
Yes.
something, and I think her NXT run is going to be an interesting autopsy because I really don't know. It's hard to tell what are failings of hers and how much was failings of the booking because I think right off the bat her name set her up for failure.
Well, she had the just god awful introduction because she and Ricky Aints had the worst introductions because it was just like, oh, I'm here, I'm a I'm I'm gonna do stuff.
Well, Ricky
And then
Saints,
it was next week before you even got a name on them.
and then yeah, like Ricky Saints, they did everything his first month. Like they went down the list of how to make people not care about someone, and they did all of them.
And then you had I s- mm,
And I don't know why she couldn't have been. Why they changed her name? I understand why they changed her name, but why couldn't she have been Mariah Monroe or like Mary Monroe
Yes.
or keep the MM? That was what I don't get. Like,
yeah, it just it worked for her. Mariah Monroe just seems like a slam dunk to me.
It still has the alliteration, enough of
Yeah,
the alliteration that you could do Mariah Monroe, the MM.
yeah, and then
It's close enough to Mariah
and then
May. Blake
so
Monroe is like,
and then I have to resist calling her Balake Monroe all the time because of that Key and Peele skip. But the other thing is, I was like, I had the same thought Brad did. I'm like, is this booking or is this her? And then someone sent me the link of the like one of her entrances. And I was like, okay, the booking's playing a big role in this because it was god awful. What is her entrance? The screen is black. She's sitting in front of a vanity with her back to the audience, so it starts with the camera on the mirror and her like doing stuff. And then it pulls back. The music's already playing, but that's all you see. And then she gets up and goes through. I'm like, this is one of the worst god awful entrances I've ever seen
well, and I
because
think
what it doesn't present anything.
and I think
You turn on, she's like, oh,
and then trying to
there's nothing
recreate
to see.
and then trying to recreate the Tony Storm feud with Jordan Grace was just a terrible idea. Because I'm not trying to dog on Jordan Grace, but she does it like that was never going to work. Like trying to recreate that with her, she does not have the skill set to make that work like Tony does.
That is not a style that fits on Jordan Grace.
Yeah,
It needed to be a different story, but we can't have that.
yeah, because they wanted to show they could do it better.
Eh, they didn't.
Yeah, they did not. So we're gonna go over to Tag Team of the Year. This one I really struggled with because this was not a year for tag team wrestling at all. And
it was not. I struggle with this one.
Yeah, because I looked around. I decided I was just gonna go off to the side, and I picked the Knockout Bros because they had a pretty good year.
Didn't they show up though like the last like 3 months of the year?
Look,
Like
it was a bad year because the
it was
choice
it was a bad year. It
because
was a bad year.
because Brodito or I don't know how was it Brodito?
Pretty sure it's
Yeah.
Brodito, right?
Okay,
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Brodito.
their run was only like 3 or 4 months too, so like it was a bad year because your choices were FTR, like in AEW. Them, if you really wanted to get fancy, which I don't think they really wrestled enough to be in the conversation, is Mike Bailey and Kevin Knight.
Dude, I gotta say, like Brodito was my pick because it was a new pairing and it got over so big, so fast, and stayed hot the whole time. Like that's awesome. But I have to also point out, or I have to turn and say that I thought that the Bucks were consistently really good this year. The founding fathers thing, like their entrances while they were doing the EVP heels thing, had me cracking up. Them coming in the ring on like the cutout of the front of the flipping Mayflower had me in tears. I was laughing so hard. And then they lose their status and they become the Broke Bucks, and I'm cracking up. Like I enjoyed that a lot. Do I think it's as great as Bro? I think the Brodito thing being a new team that got over so big, so hard, so fast, so well, and so consistently.
and
And I'm not describing a porn when I say that.
and the
Like
Hurt
that's
Syndicate.
what takes it for me.
The Hurt Syndicate really did them a solid when they lost. Like they didn't help
The,
them and they ran with it.
the Hurt Syndicate didn't put them over though.
And Brody King, if you're listening to this, stick with the tights. Stick with the pants. It's better than the tights.
Honestly, the long tights I think looks better than the
Yeah,
trunks.
they do.
It just suits him better. I
It's
think.
more flattering. I think it makes him look. I don't want to say he looked low rent before, but
It's not as fitting a
he
look.
looks less indie now. I think. I don't know how to say it. He just looks better. It's more flattering.
It does. It's just a better look for him,
Yeah,
I think. So
yeah, I think
to
so.
be honest with you, if Brody King went to like tights and a singlet top, I don't think that would hurt anything either. But I think it's just one of those. He's got an aura no matter what. I just don't think that the boots and trunks is the best vibe
His
for him.
tattoos get a little distracting at times, so I think covering them up a little bit helps him.
I'm just saying.
No, I
think
agree. I think a singlet. He would look tougher. I think a more traditional gear. I think like more traditional big guy gear, which is like long tights and a singlet, like Vader. Vader is like traditional big
yeah.
guy gear.
If he was doing it, would make I think it would make him look bigger.
Yeah,
That's where I was going with it. I think he would just look broader and bigger in that. But regardless,
It would
he was
accentuate
great.
his side. Yeah,
I
like
think so.
yeah, okay. So Matt, what do you got on this one?
Uh, so my runner-up is Brodito. uh, actually got to go with Brad said. Like they weren't around enough. I'll actually go with Speedball and Kevin Knight just because I thought they had really good matches that were fun. But
Dude, I
this
think
was a
you're
pretty
right.
bad year for tag team wrestling.
yeah,
I
it
get
was.
what you're saying about the Bucks. To me, the Bucks weren't like around enough. And as much as I like TR, it's like I'm not going to give it to you either.
I'm
'cause
tired of giving it to them. They had a good year. They were my runners up, but
they're
like
they're good. They're very good. They are like consistently good, but it's also like you're just kind of farting around. This is like a
I
criticism
don't like
of
them
AEW in
being. I don't
general
like them having the belts again though. So that was a shot against them.
because
I
you see where this is leading. It's
Mhm.
basically to kill time for the Copeland Christian tag match
There,
at some point in the future.
if there is a world where MJF has the world title and Edge and Christian have the tag titles, like that is my personal hell. I'm gonna look like the dog looking at the cupcakes when that happens.
That's
I
that's a
don't.
whole separate discussion about MJF holding the title again. I guess that I actually like MJF and I don't necessarily mind him having the title, but
I do. I
the
don't dislike
last
him. I just
title reign left a bad enough taste that
Mhm.
it's like I'm okay with it not happening again. And if it's gonna happen again, I don't want it to be a long one, and I just kind of don't see where it's not going to be a
And
long
I
one
don't
because I think that they're going
see
to push it. I think they're going to keep it on him until like the summer,
Until
yeah.
too long, yeah.
And
when in
Look,
theory,
here's
like Osprey could return and win it back from him at
here
like at
here's my other
Wembley, and
issue.
it's like I just don't want that. I don't want
no.
it.
Here's my other issue. I agree with everything you said about the first title reign. And the problem with it is I don't feel like Tony or MJF have shown that they learned from that reign and why it didn't work. MJF especially is not shown.
I want to see
He
MJF doing something different in
he
this run
he
than
is a
what he did
great
before.
he's a great worker in ring. I think he can be an absolute fantastic promo, but the problem is that he routinely, to the point where it's become a joke online, he will always, almost always, like grab the lowest hanging fruit,
Mm-hmm.
and it to the point where people start doing like in the last like week leading up to his match with his upcoming match with Bandito, like people are doing like fake promos, and it's like the hackiest like bullshit hack like one liner lines, and it's like, yeah,
Mhm.
that's actually something he would do.
Yeah.
And it's like it's that's not good, where people are writing like fake promos and they're doing it eerily what it probably would be. It's like he's a great promo, he can be a great promo, he just gets lazy as hell. And I guess the other thing that I'm concerned about, I forgot about the Bandito match coming up. I don't see Bandito winning, and I'm okay with the whole concept that we've seen many times in wrestling before. It's almost a trope where it's like, oh, the Bandito's hot, like he challenges for the title, doesn't win it now, down the road. Yeah,
Yeah.
I can get that. Like that's again, that's a trope. But they already have Omega being like, oh, I want to challenge for the title. And Dave Meltzer was talking like a little while ago, like on his show, like the last like week or two, about how, oh, they have in the four-way match where MJF won the title, you know, he didn't pin Hangman Page or Swerve, so it's like, well, those are potential opponents for him. But he said that, and it's like all of these things make logical sense. But what I'm hearing in my brain concerns me. It scares me because I'm thinking that what you're saying is that we're going to get like a 6, 7, 8 month MJF
Mm-hmm.
run, where in that time frame he beats Bandito and he beats Omega and he beats Hangman and he beats Swerve. And it's like,
Yeah.
I don't want any of that.
Yeah.
No,
I would
I don't.
literally rather all four of those guys have the title over him.
Yeah. You
Yeah,
know
I
So I don't
you know his
don't
best
I don't know
appearance?
how he is like a transitional champion
No,
and he
and
loses it,
he
because
Tony likes him too much for that too. But you know, and this is the other thing why I'm talking about with my issue with MJF. You know what his best TV appearance last year was? If you can guess what I'm going to
was
say. And Matt saw me
was
make
it
this argument somewhere else.
was that
It was
after losing to Mark Briscoe?
no, it was Arena Mexico because there was a
oh
language
yeah,
barrier and he couldn't do his bullshit, so he had to do traditional Rudo stuff. So he had to do traditional healing. I mean,
I agree.
Rudo style
I agree.
healing, and he did it very well, but it took his
That was
crutches away, so he had to actually because
and it was good.
the problem
Because he's
is
good.
yeah.
He's actually good.
Yeah.
The
He's a good worker, and he is a good promo, and he's a good heel.
yeah.
But he gets lazy, and
Well, no, and he
I
also
get it.
panics. Like the second something isn't working, he goes right for the lowest hanging fruit, and it's just like, God damn it! Like
I
you
wouldn't
could
even
have,
Have more
have a problem
confidence.
with the low hanging fruit stuff if it wasn't always edgelord stuff.
yeah,
That's what
Yeah.
really kills me for it is it's always this attempt at edgelord stuff. Like, okay, I worked a show this past Sunday, and I come out to I was coming out to address something somebody had done, and what's the guy in the ring doing? Big old dude, right? What's he doing for his healing? Is he said to a kid, he goes, I wish you were I wish you would hurry up and turn 18 so I could punch you. Like, what is that? That is a threat, but it's also an impotent one. Because it's like, wow, that's going to be like 8 years before you could act on that. So it's a cheap threat, but it's impotent at the same time. So I like that. But MJF would be, it's like, there'd be some variation on "I banged your mom" in it or something like
Yeah.
that, and it's just like I'm sick of the edgelord stuff. If he can grow and move past that consistently, okay, you know what? I'm here for it. But until we get that, and that god awful return promo where everybody's out there to air their business and he comes out last to bury everybody and everybody just has to take it. I hated that shit.
I saw it wasn't wrestling related, but someone made a joke in a video, and I thought it was a good joke where they were like, "These fists are rated E for everyone," and then they kiss their fists. I thought that was funny.
I do like that.
But yeah, like that's my problem with him is like if he had shown he could, if I have a big problem with it because I did not like his first reign. Shad and I have argued about this probably 60 gajillion times on the show and off air. Like I think
Mhm.
every 3 months we're contractually obligated to get in some like vague back and forth about it. But like if he had shown, if he had shown he was he had like if he had shown development, like he had shown like he understands that he can't do that all the time, I would be less of a I would have less of a problem with it. And where I'm worried is like I said, I don't think he or Tony have like learned lessons from that because like Matt says, it looks like they're gearing up for like another 8 month reign. And my first reaction
Do
is
not
like,
want that.
you killed your business last time you did that and you just started recovering and you're gonna do the
Yeah.
thing that killed your
I don't know.
business.
I'm not saying that
tell-
they killed the. I'm not saying that killed the business. I'm saying
It
that
was too
there's
WWE.
a certain somebody else that did.
I think it absolutely hurt
well,
business because it was too WWE.
I think it did. Yeah, exactly. I think that maybe Tony might think. I don't know because there are people who really hang in their hat, and maybe Tony's one of them. That Osprey is going to be able to come back soon, and so they could have. They might do Osprey winning the title over the summer in Wembley, but it's like he's just come out of neck surgery. Like,
Yeah,
can he even come back?
Yeah.
So I don't know, but let's assume that that's the idea. Tony may think, oh, like I can do like 6 months, 7 months of MJF versus Bandito, Omega, Page, Swerve, and that'll carry me over until like Osprey can come and win the title. And it's like if you're gonna put the title back on MJF, I almost would rather it have been like this time next year, like maybe like
Yeah.
after 2026, like at the
'Cause
end of
there might
2026,
be-
you have to win the title again.
Another year of good without him would get some more of the stink, like more of the taste out of your mouth. And
Yeah.
you know what really burns me about the whole thing is if Adam Cole, if and he would not admit this, you would probably have to like bribe him or like torture him to get it out of Tony. But deep down, if he thought he could get Adam Cole, he would run the fucking end of that angle for this.
Probably.
Like
He probably would.
that's what
He kind of gave up on that though.
No, he would absolutely. He was. I like the only time I've seen someone as bound and determined to make something happen was that stupid Triple H and Seth Rollins thing where God was literally smiting people, telling them it was a bad idea.
Don't do this.
Yeah,
Look, people have tried online. They've tried to insinuate or say outright that Tony Khan is on the spectrum, and it's like I don't think that that's appropriate to kind of
speculation.
put that on. Well, just to put that on someone who it's like you have no knowledge of this person, you have no knowledge that that's what's going on with them, or that he's like neurodivergent, i.e., like ADHD or something. It's like I don't know any of that. I don't know any of that. I think it's bullshit to kind of like insinuate that. But I will say this: I don't think you have to be like autistic or Asperger's or spectrum or ADHD or anything to be that Tony Khan has crutches, and unfortunately, he gets very like sometimes he seems like he gets very narrow pigeonholed about how I have this storyline idea. I want it to go to from point A to point B. It needs to go to from point A to point B, and then something happens. Almost always an injury that it's like it derails it, and it's like he still wants to go to point B. It's like just give up. Like it sucks. Pivot. You got to pivot to something else. Sometimes he can afford to do that, and sometimes he does do that. He's gotten better about it, but sometimes he just continues
Yeah.
forward. And the 2023 MJF run, I thought started off good, and then there was a lot of WWE esque the brochacho stuff, which didn't bother me as much as other people, but it was very WWE in that people turned on it. But that's to me, that's not really why everything really derailed. It's because Adam Cole got hurt. It turned out it's going to be it's a bad worse injury than we all thought. It's not like he's going to be on the shelf like 3 months. It's more like he's going to be on the shelf like 9 months. So you can't do the storyline, but he kept trying to do it until the point where it's like he can't. And then MJF was also hurt, so it's like, oh, I'll put the title in Samoa Joe and go
Yeah.
forward from there. But it's like they're not. MJF isn't hurt again, and I worry that you're going to have 4 people that I find more compelling and I would want as champion over MJF, but they may just push him, and that's who
Why
MJF
does
or some other
MJF?
face like wins the title from over the summer. As an aside, sorry to cut you off, Shad. Let me finish this thought real quick because I wanted to say it earlier. But they said there's rumors were like, oh, there's been a push that Omega should like, main event, be like the world champion again. I said at the beginning of the show, I don't know how much Omega has left in the tank. Unfortunately, probably not a lot.
I don't know if he has. Based on last year, I was saying
either.
that last year, and now I'm kind of like, oh, he made it 6 months, and they were like, he made it 6 months. Like, I don't know if he physically can do a world title reign.
I don't know. I don't know what's going on with him, but if he can, and if he's like honest, now he's not just like, oh, well, for the company, I'll do it. It's like if he's honest and be like, yeah, I don't know if I can give you like a year-long reign, but my body feels good enough. I can give you like 6 months. And that's not 6 months like I'm working every week necessarily. You can do promos, whatever. But if he's like, I can give you 6 months, where in that 6 months, I can wrestle at least like 12 to 20 times. I think I'm pretty confident I can give you 12 to 20 good matches in that 6 month reigns. I'd be like, done. And I put the title on him again and push him as the guy for 6 months, whatever long I can do it. But and then maybe you run for brainstorming. Maybe you run Omega Osprey at Wembley and have Osprey really dethrone Omega. I don't know. I don't want another loss. We've gone off the points. I don't want MJF as champion for another 8 months.
Here's the thing I got to say. Why does MJF deserve a long reign instead of any of the other people that are in the title picture? Why should MJF have a longer reign than Hangman got? Why should MJF have a long reign that Swerve getting it back or anything like that? And I would love to see an Omega good guy, babyface title run.
The realistic answer could be 2 parts. It could be one that Tony just likes MJF, and I understand why. But it could also be like, I forget, like was it 2023 or was it 2022 when I think he probably did a contract extension?
That was 2022, I think.
So we're probably looking at either it's up or coming up, or I don't know. Like he could be like, give me a title run as an incentive to resign.
I think he signed for 5 years, so I think he's still got a while.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know.
Okay, so we're going to go to match of the year. So I'm going to go first on this one because I said it already and spoiled it. Saya Kamatani versus Tam Nakano with the Tam Nakano retirement match. That's my match of the year. It's awesome. We already talked about why it's awesome. Go watch it. And their first match. Go watch both matches.
I'll go quick. From an actual storytelling perspective, I would also agree. Like that actually is the match of the year, but not everyone will follow Joshi and probably have seen enough Stardom or followed it enough to really appreciate how epic of a match this was and how well it was almost perfect in that it was really like the bow on it. It's a fantastic match. So that is really like match of the year. But not everyone did Joshi. So I did a kind of North American centric match as match of the year. I put Mox versus Hangman because I felt like in America that was really like a combination. Like that was a culmination of like a lot of things going on and just an amazing feel good moment of Hangman winning. It was like AEW. If he still had misgivings of AEW, it's like this righted the ship especially from the early part of the year where people were really not feeling the Mox Death Rider stuff.
Yeah, it's
Um,
it's a rare feel good moment in wrestling.
it
Yeah.
is that's why it's my pick too, um, because it is rare, and I'm not saying this to try and sound. Let me articulate it before I'm not trying to say this to sound whatever, but it is rare that me watching a match ends up. First of all, I hate deathmatch stuff. So it's remarkable that that's my pick, but it's rare that I'm watching a match and I'm like up on my feet in front of my TV, like oh, like that invested in it, knowing full well what the finish is going to be. But it was the fact that it was a culmination of two long running storylines together and ends with this wonderful triumph in the middle of the stadium and all that sort of stuff. It's like, man, that's that just does it for me. Now, if we want a work rate pick, uh
I have
this
two.
this
I have
a North
two.
American work rate pick.
Yeah, I have
I
two.
have I have a dark horse for that.
Okay, what do you got?
My North Dark Horse North American work rate pick that that was another one that like if we sat and watched a live show together, Brad would say I watch like a Japanese fan because I'm watching like this the whole time.
No, that's how I am at live
Like,
shows.
and I'm like anticipating and watching all that sort. But this one drew me in too, and that was from the Continental Classic, Kyle Fletcher versus Speedball, because that match just absolutely like the false finishes were great and pulled me in, and um, they they did not finisher spam. They had one use each of their finish to try and get that with, and for some reason it wouldn't work. Usually close to the ropes or something like that. But the match was just outstanding. They went all over the place. It went back and forth. The story of the match was simple. Fletcher wants to keep his perfect record. Speedball has to get a win to stay as a viable competitor for it. And man, there was fire, there was spirit, there was investment. It was for a work rate match. It was great.
Okay, I have two North American ones. I would put would be my North American running. I didn't pick a North American one, obviously. So first one would be the Bandito Takeshita ROH match, and then
Yeah.
one that I think kind of gets slept on a little bit this year because it was really early in the year, but the Will Ospreay Kyle Fletcher cage match.
Mm, I understand why. I completely understand why.
It's really I feel kind of dirty picking a Will Ospreay match, but like he kind of worked for me in the ring this year. But I thought the cage match was excellent. The story was great. I really think that was Kyle Fletcher's like coming out party is like a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah.
Uh, I'll say this just as an aside. I have no idea what his in ring is going to be when he returns, but Osprey was just there for like 2 days ago at this point. But Tanahashi's retirement
No,
match,
he came out with the United Empire on the
yeah,
New Year's Dash, which
yeah,
people are bitching
and
about because New Japan fans bitch all the time.
yeah, the new
Wrestling
Johnny.
fans complain? What?
Oh, I know.
But physically he looked good. Like, and again, like there is life outside of wrestling.
Hmm.
It's like he had
I
neck surgery. I don't know what level of neck surgery, but
I
it's like
I don't
I
mean
want him
this
to
in a
have a
bad
good
way.
life.
I don't mean this
Yeah.
in a bad way. I don't think there is for him because that man, like, certain people do it as like, um, certain people do it as like a profession, but like Osprey, like that is his life's blood is like pro wrestling. Like he's kind of like
Yeah.
Mick Foley, and like that is just that is what he wants to do with his life in any way, shape, or form.
Now, Brad, that's not fair. He plays Assassin's Creed too.
Look, we all have our horrible flaws in life.
it from what I can tell, and this is also very much an outsider looking in, but Osprey also seems really invested with. He seems very invested in trying to be a good dad too. So
Yeah. And
I like the guy Will Osprey, and I want to like him in the ring more than I do. It's
and
really hard.
I also think he was there because Alex Windsor is doing some stuff with Stardom, so I think he's there to hang out with his family in Japan.
Yeah,
So,
he's hanging out with his fiance. Good for
which
him.
I hate to say is just like a quick aside. I'm not going to focus on it, but like I really want to like Alex Windsor, and she just does not. She just does nothing for
I
me as a
I
worker.
said I said this in our Discord, and it's like enough time has passed. Can we finally admit like she's just
Fine,
there?
she's
Like
fine.
I think
she's fine. She's a good enough worker.
She is. If you're grading on a scale of 1 to 10, 5 being bog standard average, she is a 5.5.
I
She's
think
fine.
that that's doing her a slight disservice because
She might be a
I
6.
think Windsor will rise to match wherever her opponent is, but the problem is she doesn't pull someone up. She like, she does stuff with Tony Storm and she did great, but then when she's not doing as great. And so she's like and it's a skill to do it. She's an excellent dance partner, but she's not someone that's going to be a centerpiece on your division.
Yeah. She's fine. I don't mean to hate on her. It's just like people get really weird if you don't love someone. It's like, no, she is fine. Like, don't hate her, don't really like her. She exists and I find her inoffensive.
That's she's fine. Like
Yeah.
I don't hate her either. It's just that in the last like 6 months or so of AEW, like she's been used a lot, like consistently, and that's okay. But also, like I don't know that she is such a stunning talent that if she wasn't involved with Will Ospreay, that you would be giving her the amount of
Yeah,
airtime that you do.
because if it was me, I'm just speaking personally, if I had the book, all those Alex Windsor appearances, I would still use her, but all the stuff they did with her, I would have put Billy Starks in her place because Billy Starks is better.
Billy Starks is better. Uh, and also, if you want to talk about recent signings, I understand like the gimmick is. I think Tekla is way better than her,
Oh,
and has
Thekla
it has
is
absolutely clicked with the AEW audience. Has been great. So I would rather see her. Like if you're gonna be like, because at this point, or at least for like the last
Thekla
6 months, I
is
feel like Alex Windsor is on AEW either Collision or Dynamite at least once a week,
yeah.
and it's like I'd rather Tekla or someone else.
But that's not a fair comparison though because Alex Windsor is more of like an above average talent and Thekla is like pushing her is like I would say borderline elite level talent, like just under
She
like if like there's the elite tier, she is somewhere between whatever is under elite and elite. Like she's just like outside of that elite tier. Like that's
she's really good, and she's gonna. I hope in 2026, like they put her as a foil and maybe win the title from either Chris Statlander or Willow. Like I
and
think she's she can
she's
reach the
done
next level. Yeah,
Stat.
she's great. Yeah.
and she's translated a lot better than Julia has. But I think
Oh
she's
my God, it's I've talked with uh with people on Twitter, on social media, like Keem, who we talked about before. It it says something that Julia, who had reached like the red belt of stardom, like the best women's wrestling league promotion on the planet. She was the champion there. Was we're gonna be like this new big star, and is gone over like a wet fart in the WWE. Like just she is mid card at best. She won. She's have people have noted like she's had matches on SmackDown, even won like the Intercontinental title back women's intercontinental title, whatever they call it, U.S. title.
She's
I
got
don't
the
know.
U.S. title. Becky Lynch is the Intercontinental.
Okay, whatever. Like she won that from Chelsea Green, like crickets, like cricket. And it's like this woman was like a huge star and came to America, and it's like, and she's not unattractive. Like she has
They
interesting look. Like they could have marketed her. You would think, oh, this is gonna be like
they,
the next like Io Sky, whatever,
they
like
only
that.
care about like 4 people though. That's the problem. Like no one in that promotion is over unless
Well,
they're like
WWE is a different breed where like Stephanie Vacker is like an elite level in-ring talent.
better than
All they
Julia.
care
I think
about,
better than
yes,
Julia. I want to say.
but all they care about is the fucking gooner move she does, where she bounces her ass into people's face as she's bouncing them off like the ring. Like that's what they care about. They sit on their hands until she does that shit in her
Hang on.
matches, and it's
I
like
gotta,
that's what they pop for.
I
But
gotta tell you
I,
this.
yeah,
The show I worked this past weekend, there was a dude on the show who did that spot, and then when he got done, he was like, "What, is that not what you're used to?" And I fell over. I was laughing so hard.
yeah,
I
that's
think
funny.
I also want to say though. I think when they signed Julia, because I didn't want her in AEW. I'm going to be honest. And I feel like her star had started to fade a little bit by the time like both companies were kicking the tires on her. So I feel like she was kind of already like on the way down a little bit. So it was weird timing. But she's not
There was some
translated very well.
there was something weird, like she signed with WWE, and it almost like the implication was that like Tony Khan and AEW like didn't really try that hard to get her.
They were
It's
mad at
almost like, hey,
her. They were mad at her, and people said it was like some cope, but they got turned off of her because she took liberties with Willow during their match, and they did not like that.
y'all fucked up.
Yeah,
Because it's clear at this point that Tony Khan loves Willow. She just signed in 2025. She re-upped her contract, and I said earlier in the show, like I mentioned Ricky Steamboat. It's like, to me, that's your
Yeah.
female equivalent of Ricky Steamboat. I can't perceive Willow as a heel. Like she's a great worker, but she's just too like fun. And I mentioned endearing, or she's endearing. Like, how can you not love Willow?
Well, and she
Like she's
knows
just so
she
great.
she knows how and it's a quality that not everyone has. She knows how to sell for sympathy.
Yes, yes. She's a great worker. She's likable, charismatic. She's a fun promo. Like she's funny. Like she checks all those boxes. And yeah, if you're gonna take liberties with her, like Tony Khan obviously loves her. It's like, no, no, no.
I just
Like,
remember there was something about that at the time that they had lost interest in her at the
yeah.
time because of that. Um
But it's just crazy to me because like on paper, like Julia should be like your next big star, and she isn't. Like dramatically isn't. And meanwhile, Tekla, who was never more than probably mid card at Stardom. Some people like hated on her like at the last end of her Stardom run. It's like she was actually really good like majority of it. It's just at the end like she was trying to do like some of the stuff with the hate faction, and it's like it wasn't clicking necessarily. But
yeah.
she's good. She's a good worker. But when she came to AEW, like really clicked and is really a revelation. Again, I think 2026 should be her year. Like she should win a title. She should be pushed as a main character, and she'll translate. Like she's a good worker, and she has the promo skills and the carrot, like the charisma, all of that to actually she can sell it. People will buy
Well, and
into it.
they gave her like minions and stuff though. Like that helps make
Yeah.
someone seem more important. Like WWE really doesn't do like that stuff. Like
Mhm.
only like a couple of tippy top guys have like flunkies,
yeah.
and like
Well,
Seth
and
Rollins.
it's a good spot for Julia Hart and Sky Blue,
yeah.
Yeah.
um, to back her up, because otherwise it's like, look, I appreciate those two, and like Sky Blue dives into hardcore matches on the AEW women's roster. Like, this is saying something. She dives into those harder than about anybody else does. But man, the caliber of the roster has moved above them. So Yeah, I think it's a really good spot for him.
Yeah, I agree with that. So let us wander over a bit to we're gonna kind of tie these two together, but it's gonna be comeback wrestler of the year and most improved. So I'm gonna start us off here because I took a kind of a weird bit of a roundabout this year, but I put Samoa Joe as my comeback wrestler of the year. Not like he got bad or anything, he just upped his game a lot this year. The ops
Brad,
really, yeah.
so did I.
Ah,
But
excellent.
my rationale for doing that is because people forget, like he like broke his foot or leg or something. Like he broke something, and so he was gone like the last like of 2024. January, February, he came back to wrestling. So it actually was a comeback from injury, and he only had like I think probably 30 or so matches of the year because most of his matches were actually with the ops until toward the later end he started doing single stuff, but he won the title,
Yeah.
and lost the title at the end of the year. But it's like that to me, that's a comeback. You come back from injury that put you on the shelf for at least a few months. You come back, immediately like regain your aura. You're awesome. You have like an awesome sequence of stuff with the ops. You had that
Because
great match where
the
you won the
6 man,
titles off,
yes, that's what I was gonna
yes,
say.
against the Death Riders, where you win the titles, which was such an awesome
And then
moment.
they set up a cage match around the whole thing that he can choke out Moxley. And the cage match, I didn't like the end of the cage match, but the cage match was good. His
Yeah,
Adam Page match was good. They um they really they really took Powerhouse Hobbs to the next level. Like Powerhouse Hobbs is a guy that I thought saw a lot of potential in, and he's
Mhm.
gone from this guy's gonna be someone to when he got into the ops. Now I'm like, oh, like you could put the world title on him now. Like he's like you like he's there. Like so, um, Powerhouse Hobbs like the way they elevated him, I think was really good. And
yeah,
Shibata is the perfect like glue guy between them.
Yeah.
yeah,
Um, I agree with you, but I will also say my comeback of the year is not Samoa Joe because in my mind, Joe's always been awesome, continued to be awesome, and after he got hurt and came back, he was still awesome. So it's like, I'm gonna need to. And my pick for comeback of the year, and maybe this was naive, and maybe this was wishful thinking, and maybe there's other stuff I'm not considering, but I gave mine to Santana
Yeah, that's
because,
not a bad pick. He's been
I like that
hampered
he's
by bad
back.
booking.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I like that pick.
And I like seeing a tag
Um,
guy. I like seeing a tag guy succeed as a singles.
now
I
they
think the
screwed
book,
it up for him,
Oh, they
yeah,
but I think
totally.
he had a great comeback.
That
it should it should have been booked different. And
there
if I,
there's a
yeah,
hilarious
if
Dave tweet where someone was like, these companies. It was like draw better than TNA. It was AEW, CMLL, New Japan, AAA. No, it was Noah. It was Noah, and then it was WWE. And Dave Meltzer replied, it was like Stardom and All Japan too.
yeah, so basically TNA would be like number
Yeah,
nine,
Yeah,
like
I just
good for the,
the way he just
which is the
swooped in
actual
and buried
reality. Like
them.
again, Dave
yeah,
is like obsessive about numbers. So it's
hmm
like, yeah, if people are like, oh, TNA's the number two company. It's like, no, they're
no,
like number nine.
No, they're
Yeah,
not
you're going
even.
to actually
And I hate
be
that
real.
cope with people because the thing is, the gulf between them and AEW is massive. Like they just did an end of the year, like a holiday pay per view, and it's not even like a big pay per view, and they did 140K buys, and their buys have been up this year, and they've only done under 100K like with one of the very early pay per views.
AEW did.
Yeah, TNA's
Yeah, not
best
not
pay per view.
TNA for people. Not it's not TNA.
Their
Like they,
TNA's only ever done. I think they did 65,000 twice in like 20 years ago.
yeah,
they could have more than doubled that and not touched the buy rate for World's End
yeah.
by
Yep.
a sizable margin. But yeah, there you go. That's
For
my comeback for it.
for comeback, I guess I as an honorable mention, I'll say Eddie Kingston because I'm glad he's back.
Yeah, he
Although I
just
feel like it's taken him a little bit to get going. Like
Mm.
I feel like in the last like few weeks, he's kind of showing a little bit more of the old Eddie Kingston. Like
Yeah,
It's
that
because
he's
he's
still,
not dragging Hook around with him.
oh god. Has anyone ever like just had like I don't know, kind of some promise early on and then just did nothing and like people went from like popping for them massively when they'd show up to just being like, "Oh my god, go away."
Yes,
Hook.
but I'm struggling for it.
He doesn't. I guess he doesn't have to, but especially given his like he's a second generation star and all that. But Hook would benefit from either doing stuff on the indies or doing an excursion overseas or whatever like that. He's been around a few years. He's not even
He's been around 5 years now.
he's not even like a rookie at this point,
No, he's been around
except
5
for the
years.
fact except for the fact that there are rookies in wrestling who in their first year of working probably have more matches than he has in his like entire career
Yeah.
being around a few years at this point. But if you follow him on social media, like Hook has like in real life, he has like a girlfriend who's like the daughter of like some rich famous like New York mogul. And she's like a model. So it's like he has no incentive to be like, yeah, I'm gonna go to like, Tupelo, Mississippi
Yeah.
to work this like indie show to get reps in. No, like he does Dynamite or Collision or pay-per-view, whatever, and then fucks off back to like New York and hangs
Yeah.
out with his model girlfriend. And it's like that's great. Like you can do that, but
Well, and
you're
the thing
not
is,
necessarily getting better in the ring, and it's been a while.
so he's been around a little under 5 years. And I feel like generally he's been around long enough. He's at the point where you're expected to not suck anymore.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that in a bad way. It's at the point where you're expected to be a well-rounded individual, like experienced and not like be like, "Oh, that's the green guy." That's when you kind of stop getting the excuses of, "Oh, that's the green guy." It's the, "No, you've been around for 5 years now. Like you need to know what the fuck you're doing cuz I'm tired of dealing with your
Look,
shortcomings."
I have
Shad has thoughts, I think.
we have said we've been kind of disparaging of Dominic Mysterio on the show. I cannot perceive any metric in wrestling where Dominic Mysterio is not leaps and bounds better than Hook.
He's
And I'm someone who is like I'm not as great of a fan of Dominic Mysterio's in ring, but
he's
everything promo, character work, all that. Dominic Mysterio runs laps,
he's
but
not
even
as
in ring, he's more entertaining than Hook.
he's more entertaining. His execution still sucks compared to Hook. That's the only thing Hook has on him. Hook can do the moves better, but Dominic has a better presentation, a better promo, and all that stuff. And he has his niche. Like the thing with Dominic is, and this is not like a shot at him. Dominic is like his perfect spot on the card. If you tried to do anything higher up on the card with him, he's not good enough for that. But he has his niche, and he does it well.
Which is great. Making a career out of that is fantastic.
What that I've talked
You're
about that
you're a
before.
mid card guy on TV.
Yeah,
Where are we gonna?
I've talked about that before in the show. Like people have flawed perceptions.
yeah.
It's like what do you consider being a success in the business? You need to have the world championship like
No, you need to make
18
money.
times or however many like Ric Flair. Or it's like I was in the mid card on the major wrestling promotions for 20 years. It's
Yeah.
like that's a really, really fucking successful career.
Yeah,
And I hate it because like it's an axiom, but it's like it's true with wrestling. The world needs ditch diggers too.
you need your
Not
carpenters, or Steve Austin called them mechanics.
not
You
everyone can be Michael Jordan.
Yeah,
Yeah,
If
you
I
need
work if
position
I play for
players.
the NBA on a team just as like a guy, for 20 years. Guess what? I had a fantastic career. Like,
Hmm.
if you're a mid carder
Yeah, I think
for 20 years, like, guess what? You're still gonna make good
do,
money. You're
do
gonna
you
be
want to
like 60
be
years old at the convention, still probably like someone's gonna be like, "Oh, I loved you," like it.
yeah, like the NFL, like Chase Daniels played for like 15 years and I think he took 5 snaps. He was just a backup for his whole career. Like is I would consider that a success like, "Hey motherfucker, I got paid for 15 years."
I think
And I didn't have to get hit to do it.
so. If the metric for being success is, main eventing a bunch and that sort of thing, does that mean that Ron Simmons was not a success after he left WCW? Like that's going to be the argument I put up to
Yeah.
the idea of being a success has to be top of the card a bunch. It's like, yeah, go tell Ron Simmons he wasn't a success.
I I tend to think of success in wrestling is the same as like what it is for like a lot of pro athletes is like, have you been cashing checks?
Have you been seen as valuable enough to have on the team consistently for a stretch of time?
Yeah.
And if you are seen as valuable enough to be on TV consistently for a long stretch, that's a really good run. It doesn't have to be. Now, does everybody want to main event the card? Yes.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to be able to do that. Of course you do. That's yeah. But does that mean you're not successful if you're an 8-time intercontinental champion? Absolutely not.
Yeah. Like
That's crazy talk.
it's like let's go back to real sports. Like in the grand scheme of things, would you rather be Patrick Ewing or Robert Ory? Because someone has a shitload of rings and sat on the bench a
Yeah.
lot.
And the other was a star player for his team.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Most improved, I've got
most
Braun, just because he's kind of stepped it up. It was between Braun and Powerhouse for me, for most improved.
my most improved this year. Um, it's gonna seem like I'm cheating because this is somebody who is already really talented, but I would say this past year, this is a person who, I mean, kicked it into overdrive and is now perceived as not just a potential top guy, but this is going to be a top guy sooner rather than later. That's why I put Kyle Fletcher there.
That's a good one. I think I
That's
would.
good. And
Oh, go ahead,
go
Matt.
ahead.
Go.
I was gonna say, Kyle Fletcher. Sorry, I'm coughing. Uh, Kyle Fletcher, I think announced. I think the wall at 2025, like signed a contract extension or a new contract. Like, that's a whole separate discussion that well, I'm sure we'll talk about in the future. But Kyle Fletcher is a guy like, yeah, Tony Khan was smart. He got smart. It's smart signing guys like Swerve and Kyle Fletcher to long-term contracts, even paying them like big money, because like those are guys that those are linchpin guys, like Swerve, Kyle Fletcher. Kyle Fletcher's young. I don't even think Kyle Fletcher's 30.
Mm-hmm.
Those are guys that you're gonna get years out of them, and Kyle Fletcher is that he really did. I didn't have him as my most improved, but he is a guy that he's edging up there into.
Someone
He's on
I.
that cusp. I don't know if 2026 is like when you're
Someone
really gonna
when.
pull the trigger. He's gonna win the world title at some point.
Yeah, he was someone too.
He's
Like when
fantastic.
they in that Kenny Omega camp, where like when they like when that I kind of side eyed at first. I was kind of like, I don't know if like that's gonna work like you think it is. And I was happy to be proven wrong because when New Japan originally replaced AJ Styles with Kenny Omega, I was a little like, oh, well, I don't know if that's gonna have the same impact. And then obviously, it was a lot better. But so yeah, he was one of those ones where I was kind of like, well, I don't know, like he's a tag guy. And yeah, but he's proven me wrong on that front by stepping up. Do we? Okay, so Matt, who is your most improved?
I went I mean, y'all had good picks, but I went kind of maybe slightly unconventional, but I put Harley Cameron.
Oh no,
I
that's a
actually feel like
fantastic pick.
I still don't think she's like great in ring, but I actually feel like she has improved a lot, and in ring she still has a lot of room for improvement. But I think she's gotten decent, and I think promo work, charisma, like the other intangibles, like she's fantastic, and I think she really carries herself well, and I
I'm tired of people
they've been
bitching
pushing
about
her.
her.
They've been pushing her more. Obviously, she's part of the women's tag champs with Willow. Like she's a great, she's actually a great addition to the women's tie. Like the women's division. Like she's
I
fantastic. Like
I
in the
think
sense that she is a great character, and she has room for improvement in terms of work rate. Like, can she hold her own against some of the elite workers they have there? Not quite, but she gives it her all.
She
yeah.
So
could
it
get
makes up
better.
for like she can get better, and she tries hard, and you got to give credit for that. I actually give credit for that. Like she does the best that she can, and like that is actually almost rare at this point, where it's like she wants to get better and gives it her all when she gets out there. Some people just dog it,
Well, and some
that's
Yeah.
not
people
her thing.
just
She's I think improved a lot.
some people just hit like a spot and that's their best. Like I think because I don't think Anna Jay's ever dogged it, but Anna Jay just hit like I think as far as she can go, and it wasn't as far as I think a lot of people thought because she had a lot of promise early. The injuries I think hampered her, but then she kind of like she's not bad, but it's like you're kind of just what you are now. I don't think you have a lot of improvement left in you.
Yeah.
I I gotta say Harley is a fantastic pick, and I think that Harley Cameron as a cornerstone of the women's tag division, I think that possibility has a lot of legs because I think that she is someone who you could team with a lot of people and she would make it work. She's not going to um she's going to hold up her end, but she's not going to outshine any of her partners in ring, but she's going to bring
It,
enough presence and charisma out of the ring that she's going to help elevate whoever she tags with.
and this is not a backhanded compliment as much as it's going to sound like a backhanded compliment because um, she also, I think, standing on the apron during a tag match is also like where some of her strengths do shine through with the charisma and like being able to work the crowd and stuff.
That's hard.
Yeah.
Like I remember working with a guy and working on a show and one of the guys comes to the back and he's just blown up and what did he do is he took the hot tag at the end and came in and cleaned house and got the pin. I was like, "Dude, what's wrong with you?" He goes, "Man, being on the apron and getting the crowd into it, that's harder than being in there working." And I was like, yeah, cuz you can't take a break and rest at any point."
The,
Like it's to get people to go from not caring to invested from the apron is hard, and she does that well, and that's a big credit to her.
there's a clip, I think it's from like Germany from a long time ago. It's like Undertaker on the apron during a tag, and he's literally running from turnbuckle to turnbuckle like getting the crowd hyped up for like the hot tag.
And like leaned over, stomping on the ring
Yeah,
steps and stuff.
yeah, like so. I mean, like that's what I hate is when someone gets on the apron and then they just put their head down. And I mean, not when they're
It,
selling. I mean, when they just put their head
yeah,
down and keep it there.
that's what I was going to say. If you're selling, that's an entirely different thing.
Because I remember I went to an NXT show and FTR was still there, and like Cash was on the apron, and like someone
Hmm.
said something. And this they're still wrestling, and he like looks over and he points at them.
Hmm.
Like just doing apron work. I think is a
Hmm.
sometimes a lost art.
Yeah, people. Well, people ignore it.
It's an easy
What?
place because if you don't do it, like no one's gonna call you out directly for you. Like the match is gonna suffer for it, but like a lot of fans don't know to go like, oh, that sucked because that guy wasn't doing his job on the apron.
Yeah. So, do we have any other awards we have not done?
No, I think that's it for the awards.
No, we didn't do. I don't think we did feud of the year.
Oh, so I did. Obviously, we Matt and I have talked about ad nauseum. Tam Saya is my feud of the year.
I'd agree with that, but not a lot of people have watched Joshi. I put as an alternative like Mox versus Hangman, I guess.
There it is.
But I also I did that, but I also feel like Death Riders wasn't great for like the first part of the year. So
I did Ops Death Riders because they actually made Death Riders watchable.
Mine was Hangman Mox because it built up well and it finished so strong, like everything I could ask for.
I might give that might be next year. I might give honorable mention to Tanahashi and Okada going one last time. But because there's people that even bitched about that, and I'm just like, whatever, just be miserable.
Why? What? I'm still grumpy over not only not letting Nakamura go, but then scheduling him to be on SmackDown for like a 2-minute appearance in a backstage segment just to impede him going.
Yeah.
Like just to get in the way of him flying there and buying a ticket.
There was a delightful tweet I saw. Someone was there. It's like, oh, I saw this foreign fan with like a Tanahashi shirt on, and every time he got down in the match, he would get the crowd chanting "Let's go Ace," and he's like, it was El Desperado. And it was really heartwarming. It's like, oh, that is so nice. That's so kind of endearing that like he bought a ticket to sit at ringside without his mask and cheer him on, and people are like, who's that like foreign guy over there really into Tanahashi? It's like, oh, it's one of the guys on the roster.
Yeah.
He also deserves. El Desperado had like a good year, and he's done some stuff to draw. Like he deserves a shout out. He didn't get any awards, but I give him a shout out. And didn't he get sick or something?
Desperado?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Something happened with him, but that's it for. Oh, do we all say our? So Page Mox, will you Page Mox?
Did we
Page
do
Mox.
show of the year?
Oh no, we didn't.
No, mine is Y'all In.
Yeah, me too.
Mine's Y'all
It was
In.
top to bottom. The show was excellent.
Yeah.
It ended with my match of the year pick. Like there was nothing on that show I was unhappy about happening that I remember.
It was a great show, and I felt it did the right thing. It was like the emotional climax. Like they led to people wanted it was I've talked about it on this show like years ago at this point that AEW, Brian Alvarez talked about in the past before that AEW was the babyface promotion, WWE was the heel promotion, and then some people got brainwashed and thinking WWE is fantastic. It's not, but like AEW is the babyface promotion because they gave you what you wanted, and WWE was like, I fucking hate you fans, so I'm gonna you want this, like I'm not gonna give it to you out of spite. But it was a harken back to the AEW is like the babyface would give, like you want Hangman to win. It's like, okay, I'm gonna give you that, and he wins and he chokes out Mox, and Mox has to like give up, and it's actually a fantastic spot where he taps out. You see him like Mox is we gave our wrestlers of the year, like, and I probably, if he had not had the poor quality at the beginning of the year, Mox should almost be like in our consideration. Like he got increasingly better throughout the year to the point where he ended the Continental Classic just doing fantastic work. Like he was amazing at the end of the year.
He just left a bad taste in my mouth for the first part. Like I'll get over it, but
I get that. It came out afterwards, whether it's PR or not. That it's like, oh, he was hurt and then got better. Like he healed up. So it's like,
Well, and
well,
he was also working against Copeland in that stretch
Yeah,
too, which
like
maybe
because
his poor work was because of
he
injuries or
was
whatever. But
he was in Age in a Cage 2 this year, so I do hold that against him.
yeah, but he did a fantastic selling job in that Hangman Pays, where he's like desperate, and then finally like taps because to save his life,
Yeah.
it seems like. But fantastic. It was the culmination. It was like the vibes of AEW being like, this is the babyface promotion again. They're giving me what I want. I want Hangman to win it all, and he did. So to me,
yeah.
that was show of the year.
Yep, I agree with that. That's pretty unanimous. Okay, folks. So just to go over the quick ones, CMLL is our promotion of the year. Mystico is our official wrestler of the year. Two of us picked Saya Kamatani, and Shad picked Timeless Tony for the female wrestler of the year. Match of the year, we had Tam versus Saya, the retirement match. Then we had Paige Moxley. Was that?
Yeah.
That the other one?
Yeah.
So that was our 2025. It was an interesting year. It ended up being a little bit better of a year than I expected. It was far better than 2024, I think. In 2023, like it was definitely a step up for wrestling, especially in Japan. But so that is it for us this week. Welcoming in 2026 with our 2025 year-end awards. So this has been Matt, Shad, and Brad. We've been in 3 corners, and you've been in the 4th, and we will catch you next time.